Only 47 states show up. Yeah, you guys, there are 3 others on the far right that you don't see. But they'll show up once I put this. And when I put this here, you see there these far 3. These far 3, they show up. So yeah. So they'll show up. They'll show up.
Okay, one sec. I'm not quite done.
Okay, cool.
Okay, this is a bit of a
I didn't even drink my coffee. That's how focused I was. I didn't even drink my coffee.
Yeah, I had to remind myself to drink water, or else I'll just get a terrible headache. Yeah. And I have PogChamps after this, so.
I do too. Yeah. Oh, great! 2 coastal elites ranking states. Mr. Heavy Set Wife. I've lived all over the country. I mean, I guess I'm in California. I wouldn't say that I've lived in California because I was too young when I was like 5 years old. I lived in New York. I've lived in Seattle. I lived in Washington State. I also lived in Missouri as well. So I've lived all over the country, guys, and I've literally been to 48 of the 50 states. So I'm not a coastal elite.
I'm a coastal elite.
Yeah.
Despite living in New York City.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm good. Let me just transfer my alert boxes just in case anybody wants to do that good stuff.
Of course.
Okay, let's copy you. I have an interesting thing. My control key is stuck. Something is sticky underneath it, and I don't know. So this is going to be a fun. Also, this morning, I was talking to. Did I say this to you? I think I did say this to you. How my internet was broken, and you can troubleshoot your internet by going on the website of your internet provider, and they just do it remotely. But Zipcar,
right?
That doesn't exist, which is just so insane. Okay. Oh, and let me just put a chat.
I guess I'm not doing commentary today, so that means I'm probably doing a 24-hour stream then.
Terrific.
Actually, I'm not, but that, I'm not gonna lie, that makes me very upset. I thought I was doing commentary today because I actually had the thought last night. I went to bed really early. I had the thought that I went to bed at 8:30 or something really early, and I did wake up at 2:30 or 3 briefly. And I did think about just going live, but I'm like, I can't do a 24-hour stream because I have PogChamps. So I'm very disappointed now because I probably would have just booted up at 3 a.m. and just gone. But okay, well, we'll see. Well,
Hikaru, I mean, I'm sure if you asked to do commentary, they would make it happen.
Dude, don't feed the conspiracy theorists these ideas that I run the world or things like that. See, Chess Bay and Hikaru, they run the world. They tell people what to do. He wants to do commentary. He's just gonna kick everybody off and do commentary. Come on, let's be real, you guys.
We got the Illuminati's going. There they are.
Right. Here come the Monkas. Right.
Okay, let me adjust my audio. So guys, I had to turn off my gain filter, which I usually have for Hikaru's microphone, because Anish was so loud. It's not him, his voice. His microphone is really loud, and your microphone is really quiet. So there was nothing.
Yeah, I think I don't know why mine is quiet because I don't really get it, but I mean maybe it's just my setup or something. I don't know because I'll ask my chat. Chat, what do you guys think? Is the microphone the same or not as it was in Florida? Because it's the same microphone, but obviously it's different. I mean, is it quiet or not quiet? I guess is the question. It is louder though, right? It's louder than it was in microphone, right? Oh, it's fine. Okay. Okay, so it's fine. Okay. Okay. My microphone is clipping when I talk loud, so it's loud. Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Okay, yeah. All right, Levy. So I'll wait till you're ready, and then we can just get
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go then. Let's do the tier maker. So, all right. I can turn it down a little bit. I'll just turn it down one little bit. All right. It should be better now, I think. I turned it down just a touch. Is it okay? Is that better? I just turned it down one touch. But I think that's a little bit better. Yes, okay. I turned down one little bit. Okay, so we are going to start with, we're going to be doing a map of the 50 United States of America. As you guys know, there are 50 states in this big, wide land. And so, to use the great saying, some states...
NJNYCA are the best states, no contest. Any landlocked state is
I appreciate... Sorry, one second, Levy. I got it, Jono. I appreciate the $3, Real Bagel. NY and JCA are the best states, no contest. There is a little thing called taxes that plays a role, so I'm not so sure about that. But we're going to do our ranking, so we'll see how it goes. All right. So, Levy, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go, yes.
Okay. So, let's start. Okay, we're going to start with the great state of Indiana. Have you been to Indiana is my first question, Levy.
Maybe for a nationals?
Okay.
But no, I almost know nothing about Indiana.
So I've been to Indiana a couple of times. I actually played the National Elementary Championship, the second grade section, and I believe 1996 in Terre Haute, Indiana. I tied for first place. So I remember Terre Haute quite well. That's about the extent of what I remember from Indiana. I've been there. Of course, everybody knows about Hoosiers and basketball. In Indiana with Bobby Knight and so forth. They've had some senators. Like I recall, there was Evan Bay. As we know, the current vice president is from Indiana, Mike Pence. What are your thoughts, Levy? And how are we doing the ranking? Are we gonna Google and look at actual metrics, or are we doing this off of our experiences?
I think we're just gonna play to the crowd. Like, for example, someone just says Indiana sucks. So yes. I think...
Well, I mean, Indiana does suck because that stupid guy kept hitting those 3 balls against the Knicks. I think I've told the story before. I think I watched that stupid game. I watched that stupid game. I was watching that stupid game. The when the Pacers were playing the Knicks, and I think there was a Yankees game on at the same time. And I saw the Knicks were up. I think it was an afternoon game, and I'm just I decided to flip the channel, go to the Yankees game, and the Knicks were up by, I don't know, it was 6 or 7, and I just assumed it was over. And then I came back and I saw that the Pacers were winning. It was huh? Wait, what did I just miss? So yeah. Anyway,
let's put it in D tier for now. Let's just. It's a D.
Are you doing the tier as well or not? Because I
haven't.
Okay, because I think we should rank it how we want to rank it. Because I don't think we're going to totally agree. Are you doing a ranking on your stream too?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should. Let me just check. I think we should do it the way we want to do it. Let's see. Do we have to have the exact same ranking?
No, I'll put it in D. I mean, it's.
There's Purdue as well. Yeah. So you're putting it in D. Indiana is pretty boring. I will admit that. Of course, I don't like the and actually, you know what? I remember this very well. There was a U.S. Open in Indiana. No, there are 50 states, you guys. 3 of them are on the far right. They're cut off. It'll show up once I move Indiana. So did you put it in D, right, Levy?
Yeah, it's D, and I'll figure out where in the D tier.
So I'm gonna give you guys a story. I believe it was in 2011. There was a U.S. Open in Indianapolis. I didn't play in it, but I went there for a couple days before I played this tournament, the NH event in Amsterdam. And I'm almost certain that when I was in Indianapolis, a friend of mine who ran my website at the time, he took me out for some sushi. And it was the final night. I had some sushi, and then I flew to Amsterdam the next day. And I think it was maybe a day or 2 later, I got really, really sick. And I was sick throughout the entire event. Probably the sickest I felt during a chess competition. And so I had forgotten about that, but that jogged my memory. So having said that, I mean, people have been nice there. I mean, but I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in D2. I think it belongs in D. That's where it should be. I ate sushi in Indiana. Chat. When somebody is nice enough and they show hospitality and take you out for a nice meal, you don't say you aren't rude. You go with the flow. That's the saying goes. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So when in Indiana, do as the Indianans do. Or Indianans. I don't know if that's right, but anyway. All right. Okay. So Indiana gets the D category. Next up is the great state of Hawaii, which is where my my rental car, it has Hawaiian plates because I'm from Hawaii, like McLovin. So what you've been to Hawaii, Levy, or not?
I went to Hawaii with my family. It was beautiful. It's very nice. the state probably does have some fundamental problems, right? Like I would imagine that imports, like food, is pretty pricey because like they have to get everything imported. But are we talking as a place to live? Are we just talking hypothetically? It's an A or S
imported. You realize there's a little blue thing around Hawaii. There's certain things that you can go
ecstasy? The ocean? The ocean, right?
Levy. You did not just say that, did you? Did you really just say that, Levy? Are you serious?
I don't know. There's other things that are blue. It's an A-tier state for me. I mean, is it an S-tier state for you?
Oh my god, Levy. I can't believe you said that. You know, just like, I can't believe you said that. Anyway, all right. So you said it's A-tier for you. So I've been to Hawaii many times, actually. I've been to, I think, 5 of the islands. Let me see. I've been to the Big Island. I've been to the Big Island. I've been to Kauai. I've been to Maui. So I've been there. What's the other one I've been to? I think I've been to 3 or 4 of the islands as well. So I've been to Hawaii many, many times over the year. One of my best memories. Sorry, I know this is me. I don't know if this is flexing or just having traveled too much. But one of my favorite stories is that I went to Hawaii and played in the United States Chess Open in 1998. And I remember that tournament very well because I was somewhere in the middle of the pack doing okay, but I won my last like 4 or 5 games to tie for first for the under 2300 prize. I actually beat Irina Krush in the last round. So I played the U.S. Open. Also at that U.S. Open, I played in a simul against Judith Polgar as well, and Judith actually won that U.S. Open. She beat Joel Benjamin in the last round of that tournament. So I remember that very well. I was in Kauai in February, right before the world ended. So I've been to Hawaii many, many times. Been to Maui with my family. For me, it's an S tier state. There's too much good stuff there for me not to like. The best quality sushi just going anywhere I've had is definitely in Hawaii. Like, I love the people, love the culture, of course. Aloha, hang loose, mahalo, and so forth. So I would say for me, Hawaii is definitely S tier.
Okay. I would tend to agree. It's either a high A or an S, but I'm looking down the list. I'll figure something out. But
yeah. So
I agree.
I like Hawaiian music as well. I mean, of course, brother is a lot of his music over the rainbow. I know my mom also is into Hawaiian music, so I just have a big affinity for Hawaii, and I really do love Hawaii. So I would say it's S tier for me. And you know what? On that note, screw it. I'll be right back. 1 second.
It's like my childhood. Except Hikaru's gonna come back, right? Right? He'll be back.
I am back. Can you hear me?
Oh, you have the Bluetooth headphones.
All right. Okay. Another reason, big fan of Hawaii, is like, you see this nice shirt I'm wearing. This, of course, anyone who's been to Hawaii knows this is a Hilo Hattie brand. They've been in Hawaii for like the last like 30 or 40 years. Great Hawaiian shirts. A big shout out to Hilo Hattie as well. Hashtag ad. Hashtag not an actual ad. Anyway, yeah. So I had to switch into a Hawaiian shirt. So yeah. Anyway, Hawaii is S tier. I do love Hawaii. All right. So next up we have, is this California? This has to be California.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have the state of California. So Levy, you've definitely been to California, I assume.
I've been to Cali. I've been to SF, LA, Sacramento.
Oh my gosh, my chat is spamming FFF endlessly. So what are your thoughts?
Cali has a lot of good and some bad, right? Like forest fires, and for the most part, it's like pretty decent. Cali's probably, I don't know about S tier, but a lot of streamers live there. I don't really want to insult it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would say is, for For me, where would you rank it first? I don't want to influence your ranking.
A or B.
Okay, interesting. So for me, I would rank it much higher because without California, if you take California out of the United States, the country goes bankrupt in a heartbeat. As most people know, California has, I believe, the 6th or 7th largest economy in the entire world. The economy in California is larger than many countries. So I mean, if you get rid of California, the U.S. the country doesn't exist, frankly. I think the economy, it's super powerful. So what I would say for me is I do have to take that into account. There are a lot of great things. Of course, all of Northern California, San Fran is fantastic. Sonoma Valley, all of wine country. SoCal as well. Big fan of like parts of LA and everything. At the same time, there's certain areas of California that I think are not great. You go to Fresno, which is the drug capital of the world. Sorry, you already brought up that blue thing earlier. So I'll just say, you have places like Fresno, which are pretty terrible, where I've spent some time there. Central California is really not great. So you have that. I think for me,
SF
it's very
is pretty scary, dude. San Francisco is like pretty terrifying.
Yeah, downtown SF is like, I do have to say that's one thing is when you go when I've been to like San Francisco, sure, like I don't mind. Is that downtown San Fran at nighttime is not great. I've been in Detroit at nighttime in some areas that are not the greatest, and I've never felt like unsafe in Detroit. But I will say in San Fran at times I have felt that. So for me, I want to rank it. This tier list is going to take 8 hours. No, it's not. I want to rank it as S tier just because of the importance and the influence it's had. But I can't just because I think there are too many issues. Obviously, you have other issues like you've got earthquakes, you've got to deal with the wildfires. So I'm going to put it in A. I don't think it's at the top of A, but I'll put it in A right now. I will put it in A for the moment. So next up we have the state of Alaska, which is one of the only two United States, one of the only two states in the United States that I've never been to. What are your thoughts, Levy?
Oh man, I don't know. I haven't been to Alaska either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a ton about Alaska, but I'm pretty sure they don't like outsiders. But is it true that Alaska pays you to live there? Is that true?
I don't know if they pay you to live there. I think there are parts in Alaska where they do though. I don't know if it's all. Is it all of Alaska or just parts? I know in certain parts they definitely do. Oh, they do. Oh, they have UBI. Okay, well, big shout out to anyone who's part of the Yang Gang. Of course, if they pay you to live there, that's fantastic. Maybe I'll maybe in a couple of months I'll go up there then and just start streaming from my little igloo or hut. Something like that. Anyway,
that might be mildly stereotypical, but that's okay. It's Alaska. We insulted a state, so it's.
I will say it's fascinated me the amount of wilderness that is out there because in January when I was considering, like, there were a couple ideas I had for trips that I was planning like November, December, and sort of the ideas that I thought about were maybe go to Australia or New Zealand, do some IRL streaming, possibly with somebody like Reckful. Another option was go do a train ride across all of Canada from East Coast to West Coast. A third idea was to go to Alaska, and the fourth idea was my Hawaii plan. So those are sort of the four ideas that I had for trips. I know when I was looking at Alaska, it was amazing to see the wilderness and the how far apart all the different cities are, and so forth. So what I would say for Alaska is I've never been there, but based on the nature and so forth, I think I'm going to rank it pretty high is what I would say. If you're running away from the law, Alaska's S tier. You guys, I'm not Walter White or Jesse Pinkman, so it's a little bit different. Where are you ranking it?
I don't know. It's probably an A or a B, but I feel like I can't rank Alaska above California. Like I put California in B, so I can't put Alaska in A. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, by the way, big shout to Jaren is carrying. He is my thumbnail editor on YouTube. He is also originally from Alaska, I believe, or he's at least lived in Alaska. So
yeah.
Big shout out to Jaren.
I was thinking to say that. I didn't know if like he didn't public, like I think it's fine if we say that. I just didn't want to be the guy that, but I feel like if it's all good, then it's all good. I'm gonna put Alaska in the B tier.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'm just excited for this next one.
I've never been to Alaska. Like, that's the thing. I've never been to Alaska, but it has a lot of the attributes that I really like about certain other places. So, I mean, like, I've always wanted to go to watch, like, the Iditarod, like, the dog sled racing, and there's so many different things. I'm going to put it in A, even though I've never been there. I think it goes in A.
Okay.
Okay, next up we have the great state, one of the great states in the United States, Alabama. So, Levy, what do you think about Alabama? Have you ever been there?
F.
That's it? That's all you have to
say? Next state. Yep. My experience with it, Alabama's in the news for all the wrong reasons. And one of my worst tournament experience of small talk was from an opponent that was from Alabama. So, F.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it reminds me a bit of Indiana. It's very much about sports. You've got basketball and you have football. I mean, of course, everybody knows about the Tide and so forth. Historically, a lot of bad stuff has happened in Alabama. So, yeah, I mean, I've been through Alabama quite a few times. I don't mind like Montgomery. Like Montgomery is okay, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I think Alabama it's got to be F tier. Unfortunately, it's got to be F tier. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry to like 4 people in the chat. Like.
So yeah. So next up we have the great state of. Actually, I can't read this. Is that Idaho? I can't tell.
No, it's alphabetical, right?
No, it's not, because Hawaii was second. Hawaii is not alphabetical.
Oh, you're right.
It's like Idaho, or is it Nevada? I can't actually tell. What is it? No, it's Arizona. Okay,
Arizona?
Okay, sorry, I'm blind. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I can't make it out. My geography is bad. Yeah, I know if you show me the whole map, I can guess it. But I've never actually looked at it state by state, where you only see the states like this. So, all right, so it's Arizona. You've been to Arizona or not?
Yeah, I have relatives in Arizona. Actually, I have relatives in the city that people call the stupidest in the entire country, I think. Like, I remember there was even a Family Guy episode about this. They they made Arizona look like the worst place ever.
Okay.
And it's pretty bad. It's like a low C, maybe a D tier state. It's not F, I don't think, because there is some beauty, right? Grand Canyon has to account for something. But C or D for me, probably. Like a C tier.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of Arizona you've been in. First of all, you guys, as we know, Danny Wrench, he pays me. He works at chess.com, so you do have to take that into consideration when I talk about where I'm going to rank Arizona. You don't pay me shit. That's
all I gotta say. I don't give a damn about no Arizona.
Okay, Levy. All right, time to get canceled. Anyway, okay. So Arizona, I'm very familiar with Arizona. I spent a lot of time there. I actually played nationals in I believe it was in Tucson, Arizona in 1994, I think it was. I think it was 93 or 94. So I've been to Arizona many times. My mom is probably going to make me buy her a house in Sedona down the road as well. So I know a lot about Tucson. I know a lot about Phoenix. A lot about Sedona. So I like the outdoors a lot. I've been through there. I've had relatives who've gone to college in Arizona. So I think for me, based on just the general quality of life, the sort of the outdoors, you've got the Grand Canyon, you have some things like Meteor Crater. You just got a lot of stuff going on. Assuming that you live in one of these sorts of places, it's probably, I think for me, I would rank it. I think it's a B tier. I don't think it's A tier yet. Although I will say, and this is just me talking about it from like a broad perspective of where I think the future is going. I think in terms of real estate, in terms of the job opportunities, Arizona is one of the states that is certainly on the rise. And going forward, I do think you'll see property, the cost for like real estate properties going up. I do think for sure that Arizona is one of those places. Also, Flagstaff, yes, I've been through Flagstaff. My grandmother, as well as my grandmother's sister, both went to college in Flagstaff at Northern Arizona University. So there's that too. What I would say, yeah, is that in general, I think it's a B. It's a B tier for me. It's a B tier. I think it's at the top of B tier for me.
So far, I've been pretty pessimistic. Well, no, we've agreed on Alabama. I put Arizona as a solid C.
Yeah.
But I'll look to shuffle things around.
No, it's fine. I mean, do the ranking how you do it. I think it's better if we have separate rankings on this. I do.
I think the next one, it's a good one.
By the way, and also to be clear, you guys, speaking of Arizona, I'm talking about the nice cities. I'm not talking about like a place like Payson, Arizona, which is where Mr. Danny Wrench lives. That, my friends, is not a great place to be. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Okay, so moving on. Next up, again, I can't tell because this is too small. What state is this?
Colorado.
This is, yeah. See, like actually, based on the size of Colorado, I can sort of tell it is. But when I've seen it on Google Maps, it's like threefold or fourfold when I've looked at the entire state. Okay, so Colorado. Have you been to Colorado?
I've been to Colorado. Yeah, I was in the Rockies. I played nationals there. It's probably an A-tier state. I don't know about the taxes situation, unfortunately. Like that, you could speak to all that stuff, but Ludwig went to college in Arizona, well, and he became a streamer. So, like, what do you want?
Yeah.
So,
you guys, it's not 48 states. The states, there are 2 states that are cut off on the edge. They'll show up. Don't worry. They're all here. It's just the layout. Sorry. Okay, Colorado is a state that I'm very familiar with. Actually, to be honest, before I sort of became a full-time streamer, I will say that at the end of last year, I was seriously considering moving to Colorado, and I was intending to travel there quite a bit this year and eventually move to the state. So I've been there many times. I've done a lot of hiking. The 14ers there. My trainer Chris right now, he is actually out there doing some of the summits at the moment. And I do know a lot of people in the Denver area. So Colorado, I think, is a great state for me. I think, like, and this is, again, not to be really political or anything, but it's the one state where even if you're to the right, I would say, you're still a hippie. Colorado is the only state I've found in the U.S. where you kind of have to be outdoors and you have to be a bit of a hippie no matter what your political ideology is or what your views are. So
plus, they legalized weed, so that's kind of nice. Not that I would know. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, it's you know.
You're on a roll today, Levy. I feel like people are getting a really good insight into the person that you are.
Okay. First of all, I don't think it's any secret that we've created some crazy draconian laws for the for the blazing. Colorado everybody's pretty happy there, but there have been some issues there, right? Because of all of the legalization and I can't speak to the specifics. I put it as an A-tier state. I put Colorado as A-tier.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I think like like when I was looking at Arizona before, there's like it's on the rise, and I put Arizona as B. I think for me, Colorado is probably I'm going to put it at the top of A tier. The reason that I'm not going to put it in the S tier is because I'm going to use, like, I know I'm not being 100% objective when I do this, but like, because I'm using different criteria. But what I will say about Colorado is it's way too expensive. The real estate in all of Colorado has gone through the roof. It's completely out of sync with the rest of the country, at least in the last 6 to 9 months. Especially, like, it feels like anybody who has money has been buying properties. Real estate is just super, super insane. So for that reason, I can't put it in S tier because of that. Like, it's a great state, I do like it, but things are getting too expensive in Colorado. So even though I think Denver is great, Boulder is amazing, although Boulder is absolutely insane price wise. Right. Hawaii is the same. Hawaii is expensive, but I feel like it's a little bit different. So I'm gonna put it. It can't go ahead of California. I'm gonna say it's got to be like middle upper middle of A tier. So okay, so next up we have the great state of Delaware. So have you been to Delaware?
Probably like once or twice. I think it's most. Well, first of all, it was the first state, right? And second of all, every country every company incorporates there because of the beneficial tax situation. Other than that, it's like pretty chill, right? It's like just like a chill, low-key state that not a lot of people live in.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through there a few times. Don't know a whole lot. I mean, obviously, as you know, it's very favorable to corporations because you have people like Joe Biden who are from there, obviously. So there is that. Like, yeah, I mean, I think Delaware for me is I've been through there. It's pretty chill, but it's very sleepy. So for me, I think Delaware is
A B.
You're putting it in B?
It's probably a C state, but it's like a high T, low B. If there's nothing going on there, like it's like where you just go to get, I don't know, like chill, like do nothing.
Yeah, I think for me, where I'm gonna put it is I think it's just a C tier. I just don't think it's special.
It's like the least. It's like the least pretty of the B tier states. Oh, we also have a slightly different setup there, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Yeah, I'm gonna get some food real quick, but you can
sure
talk about Connecticut.
Well, okay, I'll take a break then. I'll just go use the restroom. I'll be right back. Just give me 1 second, you guys. I'll just wait for Levy to get his food.
Oh.
Yes, I'm back. Yeah. What's up? What did I miss? Just give me 1 second. All right. So, 1 second. Okay. 1 second. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. Running an ad. Good stuff. Okay. Okay. So, what do we have next? We have Connecticut, right?
Yeah, isn't Connecticut like pretty wealthy, but basically Delaware? Like, it's like a little bit better than Delaware in my opinion.
Yeah. So, right. So Connecticut, of course, very close to New York City. So yeah. All right. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's part of the tri-state area. I've been through Hartford a few times. Like, there's obviously Greenwich. Everybody knows Greenwich. Greenwich is as we know, where everybody who's rich and lives on the East Coast lives. So I don't know. What do you think, Levy?
It's like very middle. I think every single person from the States knows someone by like 1 degree of separation, or 2, who is wealthy and at some point lived in Connecticut.
Right. True.
Like,
yeah, I think I don't know. For me, I would say it's middle of C tier again. I don't know. It's okay, but I would say it's C tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it right next to Delaware.
Yeah.
On mine.
Yeah, same, exact same.
Well, this next one should be fun.
Oh, this is Florida. Yes. So, what do you think, Levy?
Of Florida. Taxes are good. Lifestyle can be very nice. Everyone is telling me F.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
It's obviously not an F tier state, but again, like I'm only new into this adulting phase, so I can't speak to things like real estate or taxes so much because I basically grew up primarily in New York.
Right.
It's got a lot of bad things. A lot of bad things. It's probably like a low C for me. I'm gonna put it at a low C. Love to hear your thoughts. Yeah,
I've got a lot of things to say. So as you guys know, I do have a house in Florida. I am a legal resident of Florida at the moment. I've been there for the last 7 years almost, or last 6 years, I would say now. So here's what I would say. There certainly are good areas. I would say that Southern Florida is quite good. Miami is good. Fort Lauderdale is good. There's a lot going on. Much of the rest of the state I'm not crazy about. Wherever Tim the Tap Man went is just absolutely, I don't know what the dude is thinking. He's completely out of his mind. But the whole Panhandle, Pensacola, that whole area, not a fan at all. I drove through there when I had to when I drove from Fort Lauderdale over to Dallas, Texas. So I had to go up and cut all the way through that part of the state. Of course, there's Tallahassee as well. I'm not a fan of Tallahassee, which is the state capital. So I would say there are a couple areas that are really good, like Southern Florida. The taxes are very low. Beyond that, I struggle to find positives with the state of Florida. So, I mean, I think it depends what you're into. If you're older, you're retired, I think it's a great place to be. Just for taxes, just for the warm climate. At the same time, as I learned when I was in from my time being in Florida, there are a lot of little creepy crawly animals. There are snakes, there are lizards. Every so often when I've been in my house in Florida, there somehow lizards get in, and it's really sad when like I see dead lizards on my wooden floors, and then it's sad. So there also are things like alligators or sinkholes. I think for me, I'm gonna have to put it in. I did not kill them, you guys, but thank you. And there also are hurricanes too, although hurricanes are a myth. Matt Gaetz and Laura Loomer make Florida F tier. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Actually, somebody I know is running against Matt Gaetz in that part of Florida. So somebody I know is the Democratic nominee and is running against Matt Gaetz. All right, so I would say that for me, I'm gonna put it in C tier. I think it's bottom end C tier for me. That's where I'm gonna put it.
That's exactly where I put it.
Yeah, I think it's bottom C. It's bottom C. Taxes do help though. Taxes definitely are. Taxes help, and then Southern Florida is great. I've spent a lot of time, by the way, to be clear, you guys. I've spent a lot of time. I spent every summer not every summer. I spent like a week every August at a timeshare with my family growing up in Kissimmee near Orlando. So I've been there. Not very pog of me. I have to be honest, you guys. I just have to be honest. So I've been to Disney World. I've been to Universal Studios and so forth. But I think it's a bottom tier C. There are some good things, but there are also a lot of things that I think are very, very negative and not very good. And I also would argue, frankly, I think the job that the governor has done during everything that's been going on has not been great either.
What I was going to say is, Disney World is good up until you're like 12, and then as an adult, you don't benefit from that existing. If you just go to Disney World solo as an adult, they'll probably call the police. So,
okay, yeah.
I mean, you can. Oh, the Cuban food is good.
Yeah, Florida has some great food. I mean, but again, that's specific, I would say, to Southern Florida. I think you're talking about like Miami, you're talking about like, you know, Little Havana. I mean, there's certain areas and pockets that are really, really great, but I don't think it's something that in general you can apply to the whole state. So Cuban food is fantastic. I love Cuban food. But I think Florida's as nice as Connecticut. Well, there are going to be other states that come in here. Florida's bottom tier C for me. I think Connecticut is probably upper end of C tier. So yeah, Florida's bottom C. That's just how it goes. Florida beaches though, but again, you guys, you're talking about beaches. The beaches in the part of Florida that I think are the best, like Naples, for example, Naples or St. Pete's, Tampa, it's all on the western side of Florida. In terms of that, and I would say those parts of Florida I don't think are fantastic relative to southern Florida. So the beaches are great over on that side. You have I mean, you've got like Siesta Key up near Sarasota, but yeah, I think it's all relative. But the beaches like where I was in Fort Lauderdale, I mean, it's not. I'm sorry, the beach in Fort Lauderdale, I mean, where Los Olas is, it's just not. I'm sorry, it's sand, there's water, whoopity-doo-dah. I'm sorry, that's not what I think of when I think of a beach. When I think of a beach, or I think of stuff like where there's water, I think of California, I think of the Pacific Ocean, I think of like Big Sur, I think of these areas that are really, really, you know, fantastic. Like sand and water is just a beach. I'm sorry, that's what it is. All right, let's move on. What's that? Georgia. Yes. Okay, so So Georgia, what are your thoughts, Levy?
Is there anything in Georgia besides Atlanta?
Not particularly, but Atlanta is amazing. I will say that. So go ahead.
You said what is amazing?
I said I love Atlanta. Atlanta's an amazing city. They got a lot of stuff
There's
going
Savannah.
on there.
Right. There's Savannah. There's Savannah and Atlanta. I've been to Georgia. I went to the National Youth Action in 2003, my first nationals, and I got like fourth place, and I went to Coca-Cola World, but that was like, you know, 17 years ago or something. So other than that, I have never been to Georgia.
Yeah, so I've been through Georgia many times, driving down to Florida, of course. So I think for me, it's tough. I do a little bit of real estate down there as well in Atlanta, so I've been through Atlanta quite a few times. The city itself is great. It's thriving. The economy is very strong. You have a lot of Fortune 500 companies based there. You have Coca-Cola. You have like Mercedes-Benz, which left New Jersey to go down there. You've got Delta. I think you have no, it's not FedEx. Is it UPS or one of those ones? You've got that bank. I forget what it's called as well. SunTrust. Sorry. You also have like prominent sports teams. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. Atlanta has a very major film industry. They filmed all the Marvel movies, I believe, in and around Atlanta.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they filmed the Marvel movies. Because someone was telling me this. They told me this story about what's her name, Brie Wilson or Brie Larson. I forget her name. Yeah. But like how I think like she rented a place there for like 6 months specifically while doing the filming of the Marvel movies. So maybe I'm wrong. I'm basing the state just off of one city. Well, I'm talking about the upsides to Atlanta. Now, the state as a whole, I think, is trickier. Because, I mean, I've been through Savannah. There's Athens. There's Augusta. Very rural. Not a lot happening. It's tough. I mean, I feel like that's sort of the dichotomy of the makeup of the entire United States, honestly. A lot of places, you have cities, and then you have the rural areas, and I mean, that of course applies to things like politics too. So what do you think? What do you think, Levy?
Well, like I said, I have my limited knowledge of Atlanta. All I know about some of the other big cities is, you know, I never been there. You just read a little bit about it here and there, but I do know that Atlanta is booming. But do we place a state higher on a list because of its big city and the fact that it's so...
Chat, relax. Like, I'm going to get a lot of people mad in the stream. I'm just being honest. Like, I have nothing against these states. I'm just basing it off of what I know. So it's like... Yeah, I mean, I think, you know what I would say? I have to be fair. I think it goes, I think it's, I don't know if I put it D tier.
I would put Georgia.
I think it's bottom C. That's where I'd put it, because you can't base it off of one city. The one city is great, but the state as a whole, I think there are issues with it. So I think it's a bottom tier C.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
That's pretty fair.
All right. So next up we have Maryland. What do you think of the great state of Maryland?
It's not. Well, there's. No, it's probably a lot more bad than good in Maryland, right? Like okay. Maryland's constantly in the news for all the wrong reasons, but mainly because of like Baltimore, and yeah, it's just tough. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't have any good sports teams. The Orioles are not that good. Like, what's in Maryland? I mean, what is in Maryland?
Yeah. I guess Washington, D.C. is technically part of Maryland, right? I don't know.
Yeah, oh, man, no. I mean, I think for me, it's like a D-tier state. It's... Oh, yeah, the Ravens are yeah, sorry. I'm not a big NFL guy. You guys are right, but...
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for me, Maryland...
But is Delaware over Maryland? Probably, right? I mean, at least you can... incorporate there and save taxes.
I'm gonna say it's a D tier. For me, it's D. I think it's D tier. I'm sorry. Like, you have the Chesapeake Bay, you have good stuff going on in parts, but I think it's a D tier. And that, by the way, you guys, is how you know that, not to be political, but that's how you know that I'm a middle of the road person. I'm not super far to the left. I don't have one of these crazy liberal biases. I'm just being very objective. Okay. So, all right. So up next, Levy, we have the great state of Idaho. What are your thoughts about Idaho?
Literally Boise State and potatoes, and that's it.
Okay.
But I think Idaho's like pretty chill. No, that's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been through Idaho many times. I had an aunt who lived out there, so I've been through it. It's a pretty chill place. Not a lot happening. I would say very calm for the most part. Yeah, I think I just don't have much to say about Idaho. I think it's completely fine state. I feel like it's pretty slow. I think it's a C. I think it's C tier.
I'm gonna put it in D tier.
Okay.
But
yeah, I just say it's C tier.
No, guys, we can't put. It's all right. Illinois is next, right?
Illinois, yes. What are your thoughts on Illinois?
There's a lot of good things in Illinois. Mm-hmm. Decent colleges. Chicago is like, I mean, obviously Chicago has a lot of, it's up and down, right? Mm-hmm. But Chicago is, I mean, one of these main, maybe probably top 5.
Well, I mean, I feel like Illinois, you get back to the same thing. Like you look at Chicago. Chicago is where the vast majority of stuff that's happening is. So, like, again, it's a city versus state thing where like, if you look at Chicago relative to, I don't know, like Naperville, or if you go way up north, like, it's just, you know, it's not the same thing. So it's very hard. I think, yeah, I don't know, like, there's a lot going on in Chicago. There's a lot going on in the state. They also, I think, have a very big debt load. I think they're one of the states that's really in debt relatively speaking, in the country. So you have to take that into consideration as well. Like, S tier because of the Cubs, please, please. You know, I think relatively speaking, it's a pretty good state. I think people the economics of the state, you know, people do pretty well. So for me, I think it's a B tier. I think it's like, I would say it's upper B tier for me, is what I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna probably put it into the top of C or the bottom of B.
How do I know about Naperville? Well, you guys, I mean, I would say that one of the things that this is just a general thing. One of the things that you should always be grateful to your parents, because they tend to shape your life and what you see and how you are. But really, one of the things that I'm most grateful to my parents for is the fact that I had the opportunity to travel a lot. Like when I was growing up, a lot of these tournaments that we played in, my parents would drive. So it's like whether a tournament was in New York, whether it was like 10 hours away in like South Carolina, or I think even further than 10 hours. But a lot of these tournaments I played, we would drive to. So that's why I have this background. Is a lot of the tournaments we would drive to, because it's not, I didn't come from some super rich family. We couldn't like fly everywhere, so there was a lot of driving involved, and just having that opportunity to see so much of the country, I will always be very, very grateful for, because if my parents had not done that, I probably would not know the half of what I do. So I'm just very, very, very lucky. Yeah, I do remember James Fagan. Of course I do. Yeah, I remember a lot of these people. So yeah. All right. Okay, so going on, next up we have, what is this? What is this next state? Is this Kansas? It's Kansas, right?
That's Arkansas.
Oh, it's Arkansas. Okay, Arkansas. Okay. Arkansas, yeah. Good one.
Arkansas.
Okay, so what do you think about Arkansas?
Well, first things first. David Pacman, I think, popped into my chat and sent a link which has all the 50 U.S. states ranked in terms of Human Development Index.
Okay.
Which, is like an aggregate statistical measure of life expectancy, education, and so on. It's just funny to look at, because everything that I was going to put into F is at the bottom of the HDI list. Arkansas is like, what's in Arkansas? Honestly,
there's Little Rock. There's Little Rock. There's this little store in Bentonville called Walmart. So there is that. It
was founded in Arkansas?
What's that?
Was it founded in Arkansas?
Oh, Levy, you're so naive. It's adorable. It's really adorable.
I've never been
really
to a
adorable.
Walmart.
It's adorable.
I've never stepped inside of a Walmart ever.
Oh my god.
I've been to Costco.
Oh my god.
We have Costco in New York. We don't have Walmart in New York.
Oh my gosh, Levy. I mean, you call yourself American? You don't know about the Waltons? Sam Walton creating Walmart in Bentonville? Ah, man. Anyway, yeah, I mean, obviously Walmart is amazing, way better than Costco, to put it mildly.
Oh man,
you need to go see, Levy. This is what you need to do. You need to go out there. You need to like interact with like normal folk. You've been living too long in your liberal city, with all them liberals, Walmart, you just got to get out there, be with the people, man.
I gotta go. What, like shoot some guns and.
Anyway, okay, all right. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. Okay. Of course, William Jefferson Clinton, the former United States president, was from Walmart as well, or not Walmart. Sorry, he was from Arkansas as well. So, yeah, I've been through Arkansas. I would say it's pretty slow. Again, there's you have things like the Ozarks. You've got some kind of nature-ish stuff. I would say. I think in general, for me, it falls in the middle. I feel like it's again in this. I feel like it's probably in the C. I can't really say that it's. I think actually no. I'm gonna put it top of D. Top of D is where I'm gonna put it. So I'm gonna put it top of D. That's where I'll put it.
Okay.
So that's where I'm gonna put
all these states that are coming up are gonna be D tier states.
So next up, we have the great state of Iowa. Have you been to Iowa, Levy?
No, I've never been to Iowa.
Okay.
No.
So of course, that's where you have the first set of caucuses in Des Moines. I've never been to Des Moines. I've driven through Iowa a couple of times. I don't really know a whole lot about it particularly. I know a couple of people who live there. So
why do they live there?
Because they're incredible people who live throughout the country and in all 50 states. Honestly, there are people that I know who are amazing who live in Alabama. There are people I know in Georgia.
Mountain_Drew donated $3. No flex, but it is really impressive the amount of knowledge you have about the states off the top of your head.
People telling me that Iowa's the salt of the earth.
Yeah. So I mean, this is. I mean, what I would say is that like I mean that's what makes like okay, and this is for anyone who's not American, this will probably be offensive, but I would say that's what I love about the country is that you have people from all sorts of different backgrounds. You have people. I mean, I know people in probably every single state, and there are plenty of people who are remarkably brilliant, and even in states like Alabama or states like Florida and so forth. So honestly, I think I think that's what makes the country so amazing. Yeah, thank you, Drew. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Iowa. I thought corn was in Nebraska, but maybe Iowa has more corn. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know a lot about Iowa, so it's hard for me to kind of judge it. I think it's probably like it's rural. It's more quiet. It's slower. Not that that's a bad thing. So I think it's probably just a C. I don't think it's a B. I don't feel like there's anything exceptional about Iowa, but I don't think there's anything that I would say is really really terrible about Iowa either. So I think it's just average. Yeah, it's C or D. I'm gonna put it in C. Actually, probably not at the top. I'll put it in the middle of C. I think it's just average. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, so next up we have the great state of Kansas. What are your thoughts about Kansas?
The Wizard of Oz is set in Kansas, no?
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
No Uber in Kansas, right? I forgot about that. Yeah.
No Uber?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. And also, by the way, one thing that's going to tip the scales a lot for me is, of course, not to flex here, but unlike certain other people, Kansas City, which is a great city, is not in the state of Kansas. So, I will say that to be very clear. So, I do like Kansas City. It's a great city, but unlike certain people who go on Twitter and say things, I am aware that it is not in the state of Kansas. All right, so on that note, Levy, what are your thoughts about Kansas?
Yeah, this is where like my expertise about the nation. Mm-hmm. Apparently, in Kansas, it's legal to marry your first cousin once removed. So a lot of these states have interesting laws, which are questionable in modern times. I mean, for me, I think it's a C tier state as far as ranking it above. I think it's below Illinois. Well, on my list, I have more C tier states. I think it's a C tier state. I don't think there's anything that pushes it into the B tier, and I don't think it's so bad that you can pop it down into D. It's just it's just the state, man. Like,
okay,
all right, state.
Okay,
it's 50th percentile in terms of the human development index, so it's not terrible. It's not bad.
I mean, I guess what I would say about Kansas, I've driven through there many times. Again, it feels like a very sleepy kind of state. I think I've never really spent much time there, so I can't really I don't really have a very informed opinion of Kansas as a state, but I think I'm gonna put it at the top of D. I don't know much, and I think like I don't know what I could specifically rank very highly. There's BBQ, yeah. There's BBQ, but I don't know. I'm gonna put it as a D for now because I'm not super familiar with it. So okay, next up we have the great state of Kentucky.
FR8 Taiwan
the great state of Kentucky.
Why is Indiana deeper?
I think Kentucky for me was like a bottom 5 state, maybe.
Kentucky, really? Okay, so like this is the thing. Like for me, my background with Kentucky is completely different because I'm very close with my parents, and my mom, at least probably like maybe 5-10 years ago, she's a musician, so she was really big on bluegrass, and there was a very big bluegrass scene for music in states like Kentucky. So I do take that into account when I think about these sorts of things. I would also add there's bourbon, obviously, as we all know. There is the, I think the Kentucky, Kentucky. Ugh, what's wrong with me? The Kentucky Derby, obviously, is that Churchill Downs? I think that's Churchill Downs. So there's the Kentucky Derby as well. So yeah, Kentucky. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening there. Again, it's like I feel like you know, I'm starting to look at my list more and more, and I'm starting to think that certain states on my list need to shift down and other states need to shift up. So I'm actually going to change this just a touch. I'm going to move Florida down to a D tier, and Georgia down to a D tier, and I think I'm going to shift Indiana up to the bottom of C, and I think Kentucky is going to go in C tier, is what I'm going to do. Just because, as I'm thinking about it more when I look at the list, I feel like you hear very minimal sort of negative stories coming out of these states like Kentucky and Indiana. So I think I'm gonna move those up. So for me, it's C. What is for you? What is it?
It's bottom 5. It's an F tier state.
Kentucky is an F tier state for you?
Yeah, they have all sorts of economic drug issues. They've consistently reelected Moscow Mitch.
Wow,
I mean,
okay.
I just don't have the emotional connection. It's no disrespect. I think it's a shithole. It's just
wow. Okay.
So,
okay. Interesting. Wow. Okay.
But yes, bourbon. I've offended a few people in my chat who like bourbon, and everyone keeps saying KFC. Yes, we know that the K stands for Kentucky. That doesn't in any way redeem it, but maybe I'll move it up as we go along this list. But for me, it's either D or F, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. So next up, we have the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, maybe you should. I don't want to go 2 for bottom 5 in a row. So.
Yeah, Louisiana. I mean, rough state. I mean, I've driven through Louisiana quite a few times. You know, they're places like Shreveport, like there's New Orleans, of course. Yeah.
New Orleans is a positive, right? Because it is pretty nuts down there. It depends what you like, but I think overall it's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna say much. I'm sorry. I think it's an F tier state. I'm sorry. It just is for me. Sorry. It's just an F tier.
I'm gonna put it at the bottom of D just for now, but we'll get it. Might replace another one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, but the food is decent. I mean, okay. Maine's pretty chill.
Yeah, Maine I think is generally pretty chill. I would say it's nature. Not a lot is happening. Not a lot I feel is happening in Maine, honestly. But it just feels like it's just slow. It's just slow. I don't even know what to make of Maine. What are your thoughts, Levy?
I know people who go there to relax a lot. I've been there. I remember when I was like 13 or 12, maybe I went there with. Like my grandparents went on the East Coast little trip, and I was doing the book Imagination in Chess by Pata Gaprindashvili, and I was like doing tactics on that trip. But I was also looking around. Yeah, Maine's very nice, very relaxing. Either high tier C or low tier B. But I know nothing about it.
I have to put it in B just because I put Alaska in A, and much of my ranking for Alaska is based on just like the nature and just the outdoorsy, and Maine has a lot of that too. So I think that Maine is probably B tier. I would say I just think it's B tier based off of that. I mean, not a lot is happening. They have their lobster rolls where you go and you like literally stand in a line for 10 million years to get a lobster on a sandwich. Don't ask me why, but you do apparently. So there is that, but I think Maine is probably just bottom B tier.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's pretty fair. What's this next one? Massachusetts,
yes. The great state of Massachusetts. What are your thoughts on Massachusetts?
Very, very positive, actually. There's a lot of nice cities. Boston's really fun because it gets made fun of a lot. Again, my expertise doesn't come from Family Guy, but Family Guy making fun of Boston was hilarious. It was like, how does a city with the best universities in the world produce so many degenerates? Which was really funny. But yeah, Boston definitely has racial problems for sure. But I think overall Massachusetts is a pretty positive state. Probably A or S overall.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Massachusetts has one of the best healthcare systems in the country by far. Even despite it having been a Republican governor, I think the whole healthcare system that the sort of the universal healthcare that came up with under Governor Mitt Romney, very, very much a positive. You have basically all of someone who's dabbled in biotech stocks and just looks a lot at the biotechnology space, I would say that you see a lot of stuff coming out of Boston, a lot of stuff coming out of universities. All the headquarters are in that sort of that area near and around Harvard. So like in general, you've got that. The universities as a whole are extremely strong. You've got Harvard, you've got MIT. Even things like I think even like Boston University and all those sorts of colleges that aren't on the same level are still extremely strong. So for education, it does very well. I think there's there have been issues, I will say for sure, with tensions like racism in the past. I think like Bill Russell, the former great on the Boston Celtics, I think he spoke a lot about that. There were the issues, of course, with baseball as well. I think maybe a year or two ago. So you do have that too. But I think for sure Massachusetts. I'm going to put it at the top of A, I would say for now, because just because of all those factors. It's obviously very expensive to live in, but there are a lot of pluses, and I think the system as a whole is very, very strong there. So I think Massachusetts is top of A. Hawaii has a wow factor, so maybe I'm not being completely objective, but there's a big wow factor to Hawaii, and if I had to pick a state to live in where there are no objectives, I would go to Hawaii in a heartbeat. I
don't know how many states we're supposed to split, but if we're thinking of it like standard deviation, where like you're not supposed to have a lot in F and you're not supposed to have a lot in S. I don't know if I'm going to keep S and F to like 4 or 5, but for me, probably Massachusetts is top 5, so I'm just going to put it in S. Okay. I don't know if I'm only supposed to put 2 in S, then okay, but I'm thinking to put like 4 or 5. So,
yeah, I guess if I look at it from that standpoint, no, you know what? Based on that standpoint, I'm actually going to put it in S. I'm going to put it in S tier because I'm actually looking through this. I'm not sure there are any other states that I see that I would actually put in S tier right now, just looking through it. So I think I'm going to put it in S. So yeah.
Yeah. And Massachusetts has the highest human development index.
The best state in the U.S. is Hawaii because it's not near anywhere in the U.S. That's a good one.
That's true. Okay. There's a guy in my chat who for the last 10 minutes has just been writing at me that I was very wrong about Mitch McConnell. He's trying to I don't know. That's the thing. Like they got to defend their boy. He's very upset. I don't know if he's gonna write another message, but
okay.
He's really upset. Really upset.
Yeah. No, but I think the thing though is since someone in my chat is saying it's race, I think the thing is I'm trying to be objective and look at it as a whole, not certain parts, which is why I feel like some of these states, even like if I look at little things, I could say some of these states could be an A as opposed to being like a B or a C. Like I could very easily put Arizona as an A, but I think there are certain things that make it a B. So okay, let's keep going.
What's next? Michigan,
yes, the great state of Michigan. What are your thoughts on Michigan, Levy?
I know, obviously some of the big cities. University of Michigan is very cool that it's a public school, though obviously it's pretty expensive, but it's a plus of living there, obviously, especially if you raise a family. A lot of nature, a lot of good things, and it's probably not a state that is defined by a big city like Detroit, right? Like
this is true, yeah. This is a very tough one for me, so that's why I want to hear what you have to say first.
I don't know that, I don't know the degree of the issues of Michigan. That's my only thing, and I don't know. It strikes me as one of these states where anytime there is a protest and there's actual real issues.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the state where people came and stormed the state house with guns in hand? Wasn't that in Michigan?
I think so. Yes, I do believe so.
So it's tricky, It's one of these states where the urban centers are blue, everything else is red. It's pretty divided. So I don't know.
It's tough.
Flint.
Yeah, what I would say is there are a lot of great things. I've been to Ann Arbor. It's probably my favorite city in Michigan. Ann Arbor is great. Grand Rapids is also really, really nice. I have a deep affinity for Detroit as well, even though there certainly are bad areas. I really do like Detroit. I've done a couple of events there, and they have some pretty good universities. So it's pretty tough. There are a lot of good things I would say about Michigan as a state. You have the Great Lakes, of course. Like in Detroit, you also have the I think it's the Gordie Howe. I mean, you can go into Canada. You can go into Windsor if you cross the bridge, and go to Canada if you really need to get out of the country. Yeah, it's a tough one for me. It's a tough one. I mean,
I'm gonna put it in B because I feel like everything in C is like dead. And I think this state has enough positive and enough negative that enough is happening that you can put it into a B tier state, and it's just the top of C. Yeah. But there's like pros and cons. Like it's a lot of good, a lot of a lot of bad, depending on which side of things.
Yeah,
that you're on,
I'm gonna rank it very highly. Maybe I'm being too sentimental, but I've had nothing but great experiences when I've been in Detroit specifically. So. For me, I'm gonna say that Michigan is probably. I think it's the bottom end of A tier. I think bottom end. It's bottom end of A tier. Also because Minnesota. What I would say, like, sorry, yeah. Before we get to that, I'm just gonna this is not me being political again, but just one little thing is one of the great things that has happened is when you go to Detroit, the whole downtown area has been so revitalized. Like what Dan Gilbert and other prominent investors did. Like the whole area is sort of. Been changing a lot, and downtown Detroit is fantastic now. So Detroit has been changing a lot, and I think Detroit is probably one of the weak spots for it. So no, it hasn't. It's changed quite a bit. So yeah, I think when I think about like Detroit as a whole, because it's probably the city that I know the best. I would rank it at the bottom of the A tier. So that's what I would say.
Okay.
So okay. So moving on, we have the great Minnesota. Is Wesley still in my chat? Let me see. Is he here, or do I have to say nice things? No, he's not. Okay. All right. So I can
John
say whatever
Bartholomew is from Minnesota, okay. But I don't
know. True. Okay. All right. So, what are your thoughts, Levy?
I don't know a whole lot about Minnesota. It's cold, but it's nice. Like, right? It's like a nice state, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably like a low tier B state. That's what I would say. Like I
yeah. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about. I mean, I've been to Minneapolis a couple of times. I've
donated $3. Yo Hikaru, big fan. What the hell is a state's tiers list? Please play Factorio or something.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just doing a tier list right now, and then I'll get back to chess. Don't worry. The Mall of the America as well as there. Yeah, I think it's just a B tier. I think it's definitely better than a lot of other states. I don't think it's. I wouldn't put it in A. I think it's a B tier. So I think it's just a B tier. I actually think it's probably upper B tier though. I think it's probably near the top of B. So okay, what do we have next? We have Mississippi. What are your thoughts, Levy?
F.
Okay.
Isn't there literally a saying in this country like we're bad, but we're not as bad as Mississippi?
Yeah. Again, I think it's all relative though. So I can just to give you an example, and this is not to say something negative about California, but generally speaking, people think of California as being an A state, which I think it certainly is here. But when I drove through, when I
thank you for speaking positively about Detroit.
Yeah.
As a Detroiter, it gets
these donos coming in. That's why you go quiet.
Yeah. Someone just donated $25. They said, "Thank you for speaking positively about Detroit." Yeah, I mean, I think again that's one thing. You don't have to agree with what I say about these states, but I do feel that I've been very fortunate. I've been able to travel a lot and see a lot of these states, so I have some idea what they're like. And I think that's one thing as well is why I would always recommend if people have the opportunity to travel or see the world, you totally should, because what you hear on the news. Generally is not. I feel like news these days. It's not about positivity. A lot of the stories are about all the bad things that happen and not good things. So I think it is important if you have the opportunity or you're fortunate enough to be able to travel to try and see as much as you can rather than just trusting what news networks tell you about various states. So in terms of California, like I was saying, how I've seen plenty of people like in the desert when I go to the Mojave who don't wear masks, they don't follow the rules. And then like when I drove through Mississippi and I think I was near Hattiesburg or Hattiesburg, I forget what it's called. Mm-hmm. Peyton Manning's land, or the land of the Mannings. Basically people were all wearing masks. Everyone was pretty decent and respectful. I had no issues. So You know, it's always interesting when you think about stuff like that and you actually see it where everyone's just always saying terrible things. So yeah, Mississippi again. I mean, there are some nice areas. I've been through Biloxi. I've been to Hattiesburg. I've been over to where's the casino? What's the casino place called? I forget what it's called. Someone in chat tell me what's it called.
Hikaru, you want to know a fun fact about Minnesota?
Tupelo, yes, yeah.
About Mississippi?
No, Tunica. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
So Mississippi is the only state which does not have a state flag. You know why?
Yeah, because it was a Confederate flag.
Yeah, because up until 2 months ago, it still had the Confederate flag and the state flag. Yeah.
Right. The state legislature they voted to change it. Right.
Yeah. So they have the worst human development index by far. By far.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it. I think it's an F tier. I think it's F.
Yeah.
So that's I don't have anything positive to say. Like I've been to some of these places like Tunica. I've been to Biloxi. I've been through Hattiesburg. You know, Ole Miss, that whole area. But yeah, unfortunately, I think as a whole, it's probably at the bottom. So all right. So next up, we have the state of Montana.
I know nothing about. I've been to Montana, but I know nothing about Montana. Wasn't the Unabomber from Montana?
I don't think he was from there, but I think where he started doing everything.
It looks like you have a flashlight in your pants
Bottom
every time you stand
up. Thank you, Han. Han, appreciate it. Thanks for the $3. Appreciate it. Thank you for that. Thank you. That's a good one. Thank you for that, Dono. All right. So so as far as Montana goes, where does Montana? What do you think? Where's Block?
Bottom C?
Yeah. So I've been through Montana quite a few times. When I moved to Washington from New York, I did take that northern route through Montana. So I've been through Montana quite a bit. I think the nature is fantastic. You can obviously go like 150 miles an hour, or at least you used to. Maybe you can't do it anymore. But there used to be no speeding limit in Montana. So So you used to be able to go however fast you wanted to on the highways. I think they might have actually put speed limits on now. Yeah. So I think it's great for nature, but I think it's very middle of the road. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, there's nature, but there's not a whole lot going on. I think it's. I don't know where to put it. I think it's C or D. I'm trying to figure out. I think it's C. I think it's bottom of C.
Okay.
Yeah. We're doing a tier list, you guys, of the 50 states of the United States of America. So yeah, I think I put it bottom C.
How about Nebraska?
Nebraska. So as we know, Nebraska very famous because literally the only person whose opinion matters when it comes to the stock market lives in the great state of Nebraska. So what are your thoughts on Nebraska?
Don't know a lot. Peak of nothingness there. There's Lincoln. There's Jefferson City.
Mm-hmm.
And what else is in
Nebraska? There's corn. There's Warren Buffett, and there's Omaha. That's what there is.
Right, Omaha. So like a solid C tier or B tier.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just C. I think it's bottom C. That's where I put it. Bottom C. It's completely fine, but Warren makes it a B. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but I think it's just C. Actually, I don't think it's bottom C, though. I think it's
this next one is really interesting.
Yeah.
Nevada.
Yes. What are your thoughts on Nevada?
I think it's pretty high. Especially, I think real estate is really going up in places like Vegas. I mean, Vegas is interesting because the real estate price is like really low, and you can get a really beautiful apartment or even house for like no money. Literally, like it's so cheap.
Yeah. So, where would you put it?
I would put it You know what? I'm gonna put it in A.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it in A. I'm gonna put it behind Colorado, but it's an A tier state.
All right. So okay, interesting. Yeah. So I mean where do I put it? Like it's very tough. I would have said maybe like 3-4 years ago I would have ranked it pretty poorly. But yeah, I think certainly it's changed a lot. Real estate is going up. It's getting more expensive. It's one of those states which is like Colorado. Things are becoming more and more expensive. There is no state income tax, obviously, which is a plus. You do have the outdoors as well. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like Las Vegas personally. I think it's terrible. But I mean, there are people like Voy Boy and some other streamers I think who live there. I don't know where to put it. Like there's Lake Reno, there's Lake Tahoe about 30 minutes north of Reno. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I think it's. I don't. I'm gonna put it B. I'm gonna put it like middle of B. That's where I'm gonna put it. I think it's B. Right. I don't think it's A. I don't think it's A tier. I think it's B. So. Okay, so next up we have... What is next up?
New Hampshire.
Yeah. New Hampshire, right? Live free or die, yeah. What are your thoughts on New Hampshire?
Like, almost none. I don't... I have, like, no thoughts on New Hampshire. Is that good or bad?
I would say kind of the same thing. Like, I have no issue with New Hampshire, but it feels very slow. There is nature again. There's a lot of greenery. You can go outdoors. I think it's fine. I think it's average. I don't think there's anything really negative. I don't think there's anything exceptional. So I think it's just a C tier. I mean, I'm just gonna put it in C. I think it's just it's fine. It's completely fine. So yeah. So next up we have New Jersey. So some states that you actually are very familiar with, Levy. What are your thoughts about New Jersey?
I didn't grow up in... I grew up... I guess, yeah, a bit in New Jersey. And it has an interesting reputation now that I moved to New York City. Mm-hmm. Well, not now, but I mean, I moved to New York City like 10 years ago. It's... I don't know why it has such a terrible reputation, though. Why does it have such a terrible reputation?
Probably because of cities like Newark,
Camden?
Camden also, but I think Newark especially is. I mean, I've been on the streets of Newark a couple of times, and I would say Newark is not good.
The state is big, and it's it's broken up into these counties, and every county is like different. I mean, right now Jersey City, if you go across the water, like Jersey City, it looks like a futuristic waterfront town. So
yeah,
Camden remade its entire police department. So I think New Jersey is a B tier state, and it has a chance to go up into A. Like a lot of families settle down in Jersey, and they have a good time. So
yeah,
but then again, wait, Southern Jersey we can just forget about.
Mm-hmm.
And Atlantic City is a wasteland, and like Atlantic City would be better just underwater. Like they should just make a water park out of Atlantic City. So I don't know. Probably like B or C. I can't.
I'm gonna make everybody very upset here. I think it's one of the states that I'm least fond of. So I think I'm going to put New Jersey as a very solid D. I think it's in the D tier for sure. I do not think... I mean, there's just too much negative stuff in New Jersey. So I think it's D tier.
Okay.
That's what I would say. That's fair. And it has nothing to do with me being a New Yorker. I just mean I'm not a fan of New Jersey. I'm really not a fan.
Yeah, I tried to put my bias aside. I'm like, my grandparents are there, so...
Mm-hmm. I think it's a D tier. I do. I think it's a D tier. Way too high, putting it in a D tier. Good. Good.
It's not a bottom 5 state guy. That's like
not
crazy. I mean, there's
yeah.
Yeah. New Jersey has the best public school system, so that's pretty. There's some positives.
I mean, I've been through New Jersey a million times. I mean, Trenton is not good. Newark is really. I mean, being on the streets of Newark. Last time I was there, like somebody tried to sell me drugs when I was trying to go to the FedEx. So like, I'm sorry, but that was pretty gnarly. Like what else? Like Camden. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. So yeah.
I like how the chat's like. So did you buy? Like, was it like a?
No, because I had to go and take care of some documents before I caught a flight. So
he didn't have time to buy drugs, guys. Like if he had more time, we could talk about it. But no, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
Okay. So next up, we have the state of New Mexico, Nueva Mexico. What are your thoughts on New Mexico?
I don't know a damn thing about New Mexico besides Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, besides Albuquerque. It's probably like a relatively forgettable state. I mean, I don't know. Probably like a D or a C tier state.
Okay, so I actually have a lot of experience. Probably Arizona and New Mexico. New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado are probably 3 states that I've looked at the closest because I've wanted to get out of Florida for a while, and those are probably the 3 states that I've looked at the most. Also, because my mom is a big fan of them. So yeah, so I drove through New Mexico on my way out here. I don't know a whole lot about Albuquerque. I mean, I've been through Santa Fe before, and it seems like a pretty chill town. I mean, Albuquerque, of course, there's a lot of outdoors. It's very similar to Arizona. You've got a lot of like not mountains per se, but you just got that kind of like the Southwest deserty kind of vibe going. So I do really like New Mexico. I think it's actually one of the states that's on the rise going forward, and so for me, I think it's a B tier. I think it's probably in this tier. I think it's upper B tier. I'm going to put it right next to Arizona, which makes sense because they're very, very close. So I think it's a B tier. I would say it's a solid B tier. Okay, so next up we have the state of New York. What are your thoughts on New York?
New York is fascinating. It's a more interesting case study than New Jersey. We got a lot of bad. We got a lot of good.
I'm getting nothing but F and S basically. So
right. Somebody's trying to bribe me to move California to tier A. It's still a tier B on my list. We'll talk about it. Well, I know you're not fond of New York's taxes, and we have the worst airports in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not the country. We have the worst airports in the world, at least the city.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and you know what? We got a lot of people in New York City, right? New York City's pretty great. I mean, there's obviously some, but I gotta tell you, Hikaru, upstate New York is like, it's kind of scary.
If only you were reading my chat, but it's like I feel like I saw like 10 comments in a row saying upstate is great and the city is terrible, and now you literally just said the opposite.
No, dude, upstate New York is like the Mississippi of New York. All right, like some of you are nice, and the rest of you are terrifying. Just all right. So, man, I'm gonna go with B tier. I think New York and California are pretty equivalent, like side by side. I would put New York and California pretty much together. I think they have a lot of the same problems. I think in terms of taxes, it's a different story, but I'm going to put New York next to California.
Interesting. Okay, so like for me, I think I'm going to put it with California, but I have California ranked higher on my list. I think what I would say is, again, upstate New York, I don't know about scary. I've never really gotten the sense that it's scary. Again, it's very similar, I feel like, to Maine and New Hampshire, all these sorts of states where you've got a lot of greenery. You've got the Adirondacks, of course. If you go way far north, you have Buffalo. You also have Niagara Falls. So there is a lot of beauty in upstate for me personally. I think, again, even if there are things I don't like I'm not crazy about the taxes. I think New Yorkers, at least when it comes to New York City, are complete they're not kind people. They like to be quite rude. I still think when I take everything into account, I have to put it as an A tier. I think, I mean, it's got to be up there with California. I would say it's got to be an A tier. So yeah, the rent is too damn high. I'm well aware of that. But yeah, like one thing that I always thought growing up was weird was like I'll just talk about my stepfather for a second. Is he drove everywhere, so driving to the tournaments or things like there always is traffic in New York, and it's always like everyone's driving like a maniac. And the number of times I remember growing up and I heard him use some choice words when someone would cut him off, or when he or the other driver would like flip some fingers was I mean, it was innumerable. It happened all the time. And I think that speaks a lot to sort of the attitude of New Yorkers and the way they are as people potentially. So so I think that I mean there's a lot of good, but there are a lot of things that I really don't like about New York at the same time. But nonetheless, I feel overall without New York or without like California, the United States would fall apart in a heartbeat. So I think just based on the economic power and everything, it's got to be A tier still.
Okay. Yeah, I put it next. What is this next thing? What is this?
What is this next one? That looks like
North Carolina.
Is that one of the Carolinas? I couldn't tell if that was a Carolina or Dakota, but anyway, yeah, it's North Carolina. Yeah. Okay, so North Carolina, right? So what are your thoughts, Levy?
What are your thoughts? I started with the New York one. What do you think?
Okay, sure. So I mean, yeah, I've been through North Carolina many times. The probably my favorite part of North Carolina is the Triangle. Raleigh-Durham area. You've got universities. You've got the Tar Heels. You've got Duke. You've got all this good stuff going on. I have been through Asheville before. I think I haven't really been to Charlotte in quite a while, so I can't really comment on Charlotte. I know it's considered to be it's really up and coming these days. I've only been through the airport there in recent years, so I don't know a lot that's been going on recently. I think it's probably I think it's up and coming, so I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B tier because I think it's up and coming. So I think it's bottom of B.
It's pretty fair.
New York City is the only place I've been to where someone used the F word 3 times in the same sentence on me.
It's pretty standard, yeah.
Right, exactly. Okay, that sounds about right. I'm not gonna lie. All right. So next up, we have North Dakota. What are your thoughts on North Dakota?
Lot of nothing.
Lot of nothing. Okay.
Lot of nothing. I'm ready to just drop it in and keep on going.
So yeah, I mean, I've driven through North Dakota. It's a very quiet place. I mean, I've really only stopped at gas stations in North Dakota. I know Alex Yermolinsky, the Grand Master, lives there, but that's about all I know really about the state. I've driven through there. They're the Badlands. True, the Badlands were well, I won't get into history because that's gonna turn political, so I won't go there. But yeah, North Dakota, I just don't know a lot about it. I think it's, I don't know a lot. I think it's a D tier. I think it's the bottom of D tier. So yeah, next up we have Ohio. What are your thoughts on Ohio, Levy?
Sorry, I got a TTS. That was pretty funny. Appreciate it. I don't know what the donation amount is, but thank you for the $6.63. Ohio. I think Ohio's a pretty decent state.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a pretty decent state. I don't know the Texas situation, but I feel like in terms of everything that's going on, there's a lot of like big and exciting cities.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Cleveland, you've got Columbus.
Mm-hmm. Your vote matters. Like whereas like in some states it just doesn't matter because your state's going to vote a certain way. So
yeah, you've got like Akron. I mean, yeah, you've got a lot of cities there. This is true.
I'm gonna go high tier B state.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, you've got Cincinnati also. Yeah, I think it's probably. Yeah, I think it's a B tier. I think it's just a solid B tier as well. I agree.
A lot of people saying I'm from Ohio and it's trash. Okay,
yeah. I think it's a B tier. I think
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I put North Carolina as a B tier. You guys, someone just asked. It's a B tier. Oklahoma. What are your thoughts, Levy?
I know almost nothing about Oklahoma. What are the big cities in Oklahoma?
Well, Oklahoma City, obviously.
Yeah, besides Oklahoma City, like, is there another one?
There's Tulsa. Greenville's, that's Alabama. There's Tulsa. What else is there? Norman. Yes, there's Norman. I forgot about Norman. Norman, Oklahoma as well.
Any state susceptible to...
Oh, Stillwater. Yeah, Stillwater. Keep going. Yeah.
Any state susceptible to tornadoes is going to be a D tier state. So
okay,
I'm plopping it into the D tier, and
yeah,
I think the education's not great. They got a good basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got eliminated yesterday, so no, they don't. But
yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I think Oklahoma is just, yeah. I think for me it's a D tier too, just a D tier.
Okay.
So that's
Oregon.
What I'm saying. Yeah. So next up we have the state of Oregon. What are your thoughts on? Actually, you know what? No, I think I'm sorry. It's F. It's F. It's just an F tier.
Okay.
No, sorry. I mean Oklahoma, not Oregon. Oregon's not an F tier. Sorry, Oregon's not an F tier. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So
Oregon is definitely S, A, or B. I'm just trying to figure out which one.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, the big city in Oregon is Portland. As we know. So there's Portland. Nike originated there. I mean, there's like Bend and some other cities that I know of, but not super familiar with Oregon, honestly. I know it ranks highly. Everybody I know who's been there, or even people who've lived there, they say it's great. Very outdoorsy, a lot going on. I'm gonna go with
bottom tier A.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of think I agree with that.
Yeah, because you can't say that what's going on recently in Portland somehow is supposed to shape everything else about it. So
right.
Plus, as long as you don't end up on all gas, no brakes, then everything is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think Oregon is A tier. Next up we have Pennsylvania. What are your thoughts on Pennsylvania?
Oh man, it's another one of these interesting ones with the big cities, but Philly I'm not a fan. Like it's good, but it is also not good, and I'm not crazy on Pennsylvania. I'm not Amish, so if anybody's watching who is Amish, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with D. I'm gonna go with a high tier D state.
Wow.
It's harsh, but yeah, sorry.
Oh, thank you, Terms Swagger, for the 5 gifted. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Much love. Yeah, I think for me it's gonna be I have to rank it much higher. I've spent a lot of time in the state. My brother went to college at UPenn. I went to college at Dickinson, which is in Carlisle. I've been through Happy Valley. I knew some people back in the day who went to Penn State. I'm familiar with Pittsburgh as well. So I've been all over the state. So for me, I think I don't think I can rank it that poorly. What I would say is like Carnegie Mellon, also that's near Pittsburgh. This is true too. I lived 50 lives. No, you guys, I've just traveled a lot. I've been really, really lucky. I've just been really, really lucky. Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't think it's necessarily an A tier, but there's a lot going on. I would say that it's probably, I mean, where would I put it? Like, it's like it's hard to rank it because, like, if I think about history, it played such a big role. You think about a city like Pittsburgh, you think about like you think about American Steel, you think about Andrew Carnegie, you think about that sort of stuff. There's a lot of stuff historically that has come out of there. Of course, the early, like the Pennsylvania Dutch settlements. Yeah, I think for me it's probably it's Carnegie. Yeah. Okay, sorry you guys. It's Carnegie. Okay, sorry. Anyway, whatever. You guys know who I'm talking about. I think for me it's played a huge role. Of course, like Pennsylvania, you have all the you have like the Liberty Bell. You've got stuff going on. Philly, of course, as a whole, I'm not crazy about, but I think it's a B. I think it's a B state. I don't know how highly I rank it. I think I have to give it credit just because of the importance that it still plays. So I think it's probably upper middle tier B.
So I have to join PogChamps in 1 hour. Mm-hmm. So just for pre-stuff. So
we've got like 13
12
states.
So no disrespect to these states, but some of these states are going to have to go fast.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Rhode Island?
I don't know much about Rhode Island, honestly. It's
Yeah,
not a state I'm familiar with.
They got Providence, which is like pretty crappy. And they got Brown University, which is not bad. Other than that, does it even exist? Like, do we even know if Rhode Island is real?
To a girl that went to school with you before. She said you had a fat
I'm gonna go with.
Thank you, appreciate that, dude. Like, seriously, chill out. Yeah, like, I think it's just in the middle. What do you think?
It's so hard to pick and choose. Like, would I rather live in Connecticut or Rhode Island? I think I'd rather move out of the country. I'm gonna put it.
Wait, you just said you'd rather move out of the country than live in Connecticut or Rhode Island?
Yeah, there's a lot better. Singapore's nice.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
The U.S. government is watching. Like, he's not a patriot. We're gonna get him out of here.
Yeah, I think Rhode Island is fine. I don't know a whole lot. I think it's a pretty normal state. It's pretty decent. I mean, looking at the list of C states, I feel like that's where it belongs. So next up, we have the state of South Carolina. What are your thoughts on South Carolina?
Not wonderful. I mean, you could have just went to North Carolina.
Right.
But South Carolina has some... Nope. I was just going to say some nonsense, and I literally have nothing to say. I know that Charleston is there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's Charleston. Isn't Myrtle Beach also South Carolina, or is that north? That's south, I think. Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, all that's South Carolina, right?
I think South.
Yeah.
I think South Carolina is Myrtle Beach. For me, it's D tier.
I agree. I think it's D too. I would say it's just like, it's not at the bottom of D. I mean, I'm probably going to rearrange this at the end, just a couple of states as I look at it more, because certain states don't belong in certain spots as I look at the whole list. Okay, next up, South Dakota. Of course, you have Mount Rushmore. Yes, you've been there, right?
Nope.
You should go sometime. It's actually, like, the one thing is that it's amazing when you actually go there and you see the way that the sculptures have been etched into the rock. It's amazing. You should definitely go there.
When I take my week vacation from streaming.
But as someone pointed out, it's not impressive. It's when you see the pictures, it looks more impressive. When you're there in person, it does look a lot smaller than it does in the pictures. So, but it's still impressive to see nonetheless. So where do you think it belongs?
I think it belongs right smack in the middle of the C tier.
I think it's a D tier for me, unfortunately. I think it's a D tier.
I'm giving it bonus points for having Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Actually, no, I agree with you.
No, okay, so next up we have the great state of Missouri, or Missouri to speak proper English. So what are your thoughts on Missouri, Levy?
Well, St. Louis is kind of nice, and that's all I know about the state of... Oh, there's Kansas City, right?
Yeah, there is Kansas City, yeah. So, yes.
Also, I think I was wrong. Jefferson City is not in another state. It's in Missouri.
Right. So, what are your... Okay, so where are you going to rank it?
It's like a okay state, you know? It's got some history with like unions, I think, but I don't know, man. I don't know. C, like, can you say that, or will you not be allowed to play in the St. Louis event?
Well, I can say whatever I want to say.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to say where I'm going to put
it?
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to say. Since I've lived in St. Louis and I've been through the state. Here's what I'll say. It's very good for chess. I do like that there's a chess club there. I think what they've done has been remarkable in terms of chess and just broadening it for professionals to make a living, whether it's as players, whether it's the universities and coaching ability, or just giving lessons. I think that is very fantastic. That being said, I think there are a lot of downsides. First downside I will say is that as someone of Asian descent, I literally seen very few Asians in St. Louis. There's not a lot of diversity. So that's one of the big negatives for me. Secondarily, I would say that the downtown area is fairly sketchy at nighttime. There's not a lot happening. And third, I would also say even the best area of St. Louis, which is the Central West End, where the chess club is, if you go outside like a 3-block radius, generally 3 to 4 block radius, you already are in areas that you don't want to be in at nighttime. It's quite dangerous. So what I would say is that for me, what's going on with chess is very good, but as a state, I see very little that is positive. So I think for me, I think it's a D tier. I think it's just D tier. I think it's a D tier. That's all I'm gonna say. I think it's D tier.
Yeah, I put it.
The barbecue is good. You do have some really good barbecue. You've got like Pappy's, for example, which is fantastic. The Del Mar Divide, of course, exactly. But I would say like you have great barbecue, which is fantastic. You do have some jazz. I mean, if you go over to like the Soulard area or down those areas, I think there's stuff. You can maybe go out into the county a bit, but I don't think as a whole as a whole that it's a great state. So I think it's a D. So next up we have Tennessee. What are your thoughts on Tennessee?
Not overwhelmingly positive, but Nashville is kind of fun. Like, Nashville's it's a fun one. Nationals is there every year. I think the U.S. Chess Federation is like headquartered
in Crossville. Crossville, yes.
Yeah, Crossville, Tennessee. It's probably like a solid D tier state.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Levy. Wow. So I actually have a very different take on it. I think Tennessee, for me, ranks very highly for a couple of reasons. First of all, no state income tax. Secondly, Nashville, you've got the whole country music going on. You've got great restaurants. Property values are skyrocketing. A lot of people are moving there. There are a lot of tech companies. There's a lot of new job creation in the state. So I actually have a very different take. I think for Tennessee, it ranks very high. I think it's at the top of B for me. I think it's a B tier. It's very much up on the rise. And like if you look at Nashville, that city, the way it's transformed, maybe it's not tech companies, but I thought there were a lot of companies that are moving to Nashville. I think Tennessee is at the very top of B. Maybe even, you know what, Alaska doesn't belong there. I'm gonna put Alaska down at the bottom. Don't worry, you guys, it's not F tier. But I'm gonna actually put Tennessee at the bottom of A tier. So next up is Texas. What do you think of Texas?
Texas. I think Texas people have a bad perception of Texas. I think Texas is a pretty decent state to live in. I've been in Texas multiple times for tournaments and just extended stay there, and I don't know, everyone's very nice, honestly. I don't know if they're all hiding something, but Texas is kind of like the quintessential meme of the US for some reason, but it's actually like a pretty pleasant state. I'm gonna put Texas in the if I put it in the A tier, I'm putting it above New York. I don't know if I can do that. Hikaru.
It's up to you.
All right. Well, I mean, we're doing it differently. I'm gonna put it in the A tier, and I'm going to move New York next to Texas. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm gonna actually say Texas is S tier for me. It's S tier. And there are a couple of reasons. First of all, the cities that I've been to, Dallas and Austin, are simply out of this world. Two of my favorite cities in all of the country. There's no state income tax as well. So there are a lot of tech companies that are actually moving to Texas. I think Texas is like, it is quintessentially, America as a whole. There are a lot of Democrats, a lot of Republicans, but I think Texas is S tier for sure for me. It's not even close.
Yeah, if you know how to drive, which luckily I learned, so now I can say that it's a good state to live in. Otherwise, I would have been pretty screwed in terms of getting around. So.
Yeah, I think Texas is S tier for me. So, okay. So what about Utah?
Utah has a few things that might fit your fancy. So if you like skiing, Utah's good. If you like some natural beauty, if you're Mormon, and I think that's it. So Utah has a few things, but it might be like a low B for me. I think it's a pretty low B.
I'm putting it as a D.
You really don't like it?
I just don't think there's anything special.
Well, it's got a lot of natural beauty. You know who lives in Utah? Post Malone. And he really likes it because he gets to get away from like LA and
I guess actually no, it's probably C. I forgot about Zion and Bryce. I did forget about Bryce and Zion. That's true. Yeah, it is probably a C tier then. I forgot about it. So I think it's a C tier.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually. That's a good point. Okay, next up we have Vermont.
Vermont's got Bernie Sanders, and I'm not even sure that's a full positive. And at the same time, isn't Vermont the most sad state? Like literally, isn't it the state because like everything is in darkness? Like I don't. That's totally accurate, right? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, a little confused.
Oh. Wait, what? Oh. Vermont and South Dakota are tied for the nation's happiest state. Hold on. Hold on. What? When did that happen? When did that happen? Okay, well, what are your thoughts on Vermont? I'm literally completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure it will also... like, what?
I mean, I think Vermont is just middle of the road again. Nothing terrible, but nothing spectacular. I think it's just middle of the road C.
Oh, I've just been lied to then. Oh my goodness.
So next up is what is this one? What is
well,
this
there you go.
One? I can't see.
I'm still completely blown away by.
Next to it's Virginia. Okay, the spikes just don't make sense. Okay. What are your thoughts on Virginia, Levy?
I actually grew up there. Like my grandparents raised me there when I was like 1 and 2 years old. I've been there. Not a lot of the bigger cities are on the up and up. Like they're building trains and metros and good universities. I'm pretty positive overall in Virginia. I think it's like a B tier state. I think it's like a solid B.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's just it's like middle B. I mean, no, maybe actually. Probably middle B. Yeah, middle B.
Oh, it's the W's. Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming.
So what are your thoughts on Washington State?
Very positive, actually. I think it might be an A tier, and it has Seattle. So, like, yeah. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, I think it's completely out of control in Seattle in terms of the taxes and in terms of the cost of everything, thanks to like Amazon, Microsoft, Expedia, and every other crazy company that's worth too much. But that being said, I think that Washington as a whole, just the outdoors stuff, just the general tax system, just the beauty, it's for me it's an A. It's an A. I think it's an A tier.
Okay, West Virginia. For me, West Virginia is a bottom 5 state, so I'm not even gonna.
It's an F. I'm sorry, it's just an F. Just an F for me.
Yep. All right, next one.
Next one is Wisconsin. What are your thoughts on Wisconsin, Levy?
Wisconsin is an interesting one. It's really close to Michigan, right? It's the other massive state by the Great Lakes.
Correct.
But I'm not so positive on it. I think it's like a pretty low tier C or a very low tier B.
Okay, so I mean there's obviously there's Milwaukee, there's Madison, the big college town. Those are probably the two cities that I know the most about. And I really do love Madison, but I think it's probably like it's either B or C. I'm just gonna put it at the bottom. I think it's just a B tier. Just a B tier. That's what I would say. I think it's a B tier. So next up there's Wyoming. What are your thoughts on Wyoming?
I don't know. I mean, I've been to Wyoming, but I still don't know anything about Wyoming.
You've been to Jackson Hole?
Yeah, I went to Wyoming when I was like 7. My grandparents took me on a West Coast trip, so I went to like the Grand Canyon.
Oh, okay.
We probably went to Jackson Hole. I would imagine. But
wow, you've been holding out on all of us. We thought you were just like a normie like us. You were salt of the earth, and here you are, like this rich guy who goes to Jackson Hole and hangs out with the Illuminati.
I don't know. I was like 7. I didn't really have a say. I just was interested in what we were eating. I think Yellowstone is out there.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, making a joke, because Jackson Hole, of course, is where all like all the really rich people have houses.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'll ask my grandparents.
No, probably you didn't. I mean, Jackson Hole, I think is mainly that's like where they have like fly fishing and ski. Do they have skiing in Jackson Hole? I'm not sure, but I think it's a little bit different. Whereas like Yellowstone, of course, is there. There's Jackson Hole. There's some other city that I think is popular. I can't recall it right off. But yeah, I would say where would you rank it?
I would put it. I know nothing about Wyoming. I don't.
Oh, there's Cheyenne too. There's Cheyenne, yes, of course, where NORAD is. I forgot about Cheyenne. Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it in B, C, or D.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It might be great. Maybe Wyoming's like the greatest state to live in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably just a C. I think it's actually bottom tier C for me. It's probably just a C. Oh wait, no, what's in Cheyenne Mountain? Isn't that where NORAD is, or am I wrong? Or not? No. What's in Cheyenne Mountain? Isn't there something in Cheyenne Mountain? Or am I just thinking of like sci-fi or something?
Oh, I did see Old Faithful. The guys are in.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of Stargate. That's right. Yeah, wrong thing entirely. Okay, so yeah, so you have your list. Let me I have to figure out where to put Alaska, because I took it off of A. I don't think that's where it belongs. So where does Alaska belong? Because I still have to put it. I think Alaska I'm just going to put it at the bottom of B, maybe. I think I'm going to put it at the bottom of B. So yeah, so I think we're done. So we got through this tier list. This actually took a long time. This wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, but I think I'm happy. Are you happy with your tier list? I'm just taking one last look.
Yeah. I got my next moving destination potentially.
Which is what?
So, I'm kidding. I have no idea. Berlin, maybe. Been told that the immigration.
But Levy, you realize you're going to pay more taxes in Berlin, right?
I'm naming cities. I don't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of taxes. People were upset with us for talking so much about taxes. We're very upset.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna go get ready for PogChamps. You're gonna continue, right?
Yeah, I might. We'll see if as I get deeper into the day, we'll see if I choose to turn it into a long stream. We'll see. Okay. But anyway, yeah. But it's coming up soon, so I'll probably be doing a watch party as well of the event.
Okay.
So I'll catch you later. Okay.
Okay. Cool. This was fun. Thanks for hanging out, people.
Yeah. All right.
I provided my massive expertise on the United States of America.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Levy, for the 4-player and also for the for the tier maker as well. And yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk soon.
Cool. Bye, guys.
See you. Have a good stream.